Have you ever wondered how a crown, a symbol of honor and power, could become a heavy, soul-crushing curse? Today, we're diving into the tragic story of Israel's first king, Saul, a man who had everything but lost it all. This isn't just an ancient tale. It's a powerful lesson about fear, obedience, and the human heart. When God chose Saul, he was the people's hero. Tall, handsome, and strong, he looked every bit the part of a king. In the beginning, he was also humble. The Spirit of God was with him, guiding his decisions and giving him victory. He was a ruler who started with promise, a leader chosen for greatness. But something inside him began to shift. A seed of fear was planted, and it started to grow, wrapping its roots around his heart. What was Saul afraid of? He was afraid of losing his power. He was afraid of what the people thought of him. He was terrified of being replaced. This fear became the lens through which he saw the world, distorting his judgment and clouding his connection with God. It was a fear that would ultimately lead to his downfall. The true test came when God gave Saul a clear command: "Go and completely destroy the Amalekites, sparing nothing and no one." This was a test of total obedience. But Saul faltered. He obeyed, but only partially. He defeated the enemy, but he spared their king Agag and kept the best of the livestock and plunder. Why? When the prophet Samuel confronted him, Saul's excuse was heartbreakingly honest. "I was afraid of the people, and so I gave in to them." He chose the approval of men over the command of God. In that moment of compromise, his fate was sealed. Samuel delivered the devastating news: "Because you have rejected the word of the Lord, he has rejected you as king." This wasn't just a loss of title, it was a spiritual death sentence. The Bible tells us that the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul. Imagine that. The divine presence, the source of his wisdom and strength, was gone. And in its place, a distressing spirit, a dark and tormenting presence, began to haunt him. The very crown he fought to protect now felt like it was squeezing the life out of him. This is when the story takes an even darker turn. As Saul's light faded, another's began to shine brightly: a young shepherd boy named David. David was skilled, brave, and beloved by the people. He was everything Saul once was, and everything Saul now feared. When the women of Israel sang, "Saul has slain his thousands, and David his tens of thousands," jealousy erupted in Saul's heart like a volcano. It was a poison that consumed him. From that day on, Saul's life became a frantic, desperate attempt to hold onto his crown, while his soul withered away. He clutched his royal scepter but lost his peace, his sanity, and his relationship with God. The king who was once a unifier became a paranoid tyrant. He threw spears at David, hunted him through the wilderness, and became obsessed with eliminating his perceived rival. His fear had turned into a monstrous obsession. In his desperation, Saul sank even lower. Forsaken by God, he sought guidance from a medium, a practice explicitly forbidden by the very laws he was meant to uphold. He was looking for answers in the darkness because he had turned his back on the light. This act was the final nail in his coffin, a complete surrender to the forces he once fought against. His reign, which began with such bright promise, was now shrouded in complete spiritual darkness. The end came on the battlefield of Gilboa. Defeated, wounded, and utterly abandoned, Saul saw no way out. The man who was once the hope of Israel, the Lord's anointed, died a tragic and lonely death, falling on his own sword. His crown, the prize he feared losing so much, lay abandoned in the dust. He had held onto his power so tightly that he had choked the life out of his own soul. So, what can we learn from this powerful story? Saul's tale is a timeless warning. It shows us that disobedience born from fear always leads to spiritual decay. It teaches us that a position of leadership, a title, or any earthly treasure becomes a curse when it's not held in obedience to God. When God's presence leaves, a void is created and darkness rushes in to fill it. Saul's tragedy wasn't that he lost his kingdom, it was that he lost his connection to the King of Kings. He chose the temporary approval of people over the eternal presence of God, and paid the ultimate price. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share. What are your thoughts on Saul's story? Let me know in the comments below. See you next time.